So you could be forgiven for wondering why we're including a contents page when we're just putting together a short sample brochure for your portfolio. Well, a contents page alludes to the fact you're able to create much larger brochures, and I think that's a good thing to demonstrate to clients. Done correctly, it can also be a very aesthetically pleasing page. And there are a few tips I think it's really worth knowing that will come across as we build this page together. So first of all, the way I've designed it, these are regular text frames. They are sitting on the text layer of my layers palette, and I've assigned paragraph styles to these different sections of content. So 3 different paragraph styles, one for this large heading, one for each of the top lines here that give you the title of the page that the contents is referring to, and then lastly a style for the description. So let's go ahead and I'll deselect first, and we can double click through these and set those formats. So first of all, the large heading. In my version, this is going to be Trajan Pro 3. You can adjust the sizing, the spacing and so forth to suit your taste. The titles, I'm going to do Futura, Book, and I'm quite happy with the tracking that we have there. Finally, the description. Now I could use the same font family, but I'm going to use Minion Pro and keep that consistent with the rest of my body text. So there we are, 3 quick formatting changes. And if I close that view, that's looking really nice. I think quite sleek and quite minimalist. Now the way I've got the text box to function like this, we have the page number left aligned, but then we have the description and the rest of the content right aligned. And the way to achieve this is simply to right align the entire text box, but as soon as you add a tab before something, so if I delete this line here, I'll this time use the letter R, and as soon as I hit tab, notice that's going to fly across to the left hand side. So I quite like that. It gives you some nice clean edges, and if you're able to fit the word contents just above that, if you're able to fit the word contents to line up nicely, you get a really sleek looking layout. So that's how I've achieved that effect there. We also have, and I could lock this to avoid any problems, I have a background layer which just has an off-white. You can see white on the right hand page here, and that's just an off-white color that I've used, and that's drawn, in this case it's drawn from our sample colors. I'm actually going to put that back to better suit my own theme, so I'm going to use the light grey for that in my example. Now if we hit W, just to open the regular InDesign view, you'll see you could either place 1 image on this right hand page. I quite like to add 2, so there's no gap or space in between them. There's 2 frames here for images, and if I flick across to the final version, you'll see this is the result that I'm aiming for, drawing on these images. So I'm going to drop those in to this template version, and your images will hopefully be different to mine, so you'll get different results. And just remember to drag this so it bleeds off of the edge, and then use the button to fill the frame. You could click in the center and then fine-tune that if you like, but I think that's actually aligned quite nicely in that case. The same for this image. Perhaps I'll just drag it to show a little more of the towel. And in fact, this is a good chance to show you the power of cropping. At the moment, there's this seam in the corner where we've just got a bit of detail on the wall there. So I would enlarge the image by grabbing this handle, holding Shift to make sure it's not freely constrained, and just dragging it so there's no chance at all. that gets included, and we've still got our bleed there to the edge. So don't be afraid to do that with your images. Use the aperture and resize them within that aperture to mask and to hide anything that doesn't add aesthetically to get the result you're looking for. So if I close the normal view and we look at the preview, I think that's looking really nice. I love generous use of negative space. We've got generous margins set up in the framework for this document, but I've gone even a step beyond that and I've really pushed this. Now, we could perhaps better align this to our grid. So I could shift it so that our text, and this is a little wider than it needs to be, this frame. That might help us align things better. And you can see the grid's helping us, although we're not sticking strictly to that grid. It's really easy to see from here that we've got equal amounts sticking out, or we do now that I've nudged it, on either side of that grid. So again, grids just help you. You could never do that. If I turn the grids off, you've got no way of knowing if that's optically or mathematically aligned. As soon as you turn the grids on, you've got that extra little bit of help. So another endorsement for using grids in the framework of your design there. So that's our contents page. I'm feeling quite happy with this. And next we'll start creating some of these sample spreads.